At least it was a delectable final meal. There are plenty of television writers who like to include Easter eggs in their shows. These types of clues make viewing the episodes extra fun for eagle-eyed viewers, but they can also mean that fans can get inspired to go back and do a rewatch of their favorite shows to catch all the clues they might have missed during the first run-through. One show that likes to utilize these kinds of tip-offs is HBO's smash hit, The White Lotus, which just wrapped up its third season. There were lots of hints throughout its 8 episodes that suggested where the show was heading in the finale. Now, insightful viewers on Reddit have posited that there's one allusion to Greek mythology in the finale that actually spelled out one of the characters' fates. And it all relates to a deep-fried sweet treat. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching for more details. One of Chelsea's last scenes foreshadows her untimely death in The White Lotus. From the very first episode, it was hard not to fall in love with Chelsea, Amy Lou Wood. With her eternal optimism, unshakable loyalty, and affinity for astrology, Chelsea is a bright light at the White Lotus Resort in Thailand. Even when her boyfriend, Rick, Walton Goggins, seems determined to ignore or dismiss her, Chelsea's sunny personality makes her one of the best characters in the entire season. In the finale, Chelsea is reunited with Rick after his trip to Bangkok. For a moment, it seems like Chelsea is going to get the happy ending she deserves, albeit with a man who doesn't deserve her. To top off her blissful mood at breakfast the next morning, she asks Rick to bring her a donut from the buffet. But when Rick gets confronted by Jim Hollinger, Scott Glenn, who he believes killed his father, Rick falls right back into his vengeful state. Rick returns with her donut and tells her about the confrontation. Chelsea begs him not to do anything stupid, makes to follow him, and then runs back to grab her donut so she can eat it on the go. She's hoping to prevent him from carrying out any acts of revenge, but she also doesn't want to forego her sweet treat. Instead of listening to Chelsea, Rick shoots Jim, and a wild shootout between Jim's bodyguards and Rick ensues. Tragically, Chelsea is caught in the crossfire. She dies in Rick's arms, just moments before he is also gunned down. That means that Chelsea's very last meal in Thailand, and in general, was that donut. But some White Lotus fans are insisting that the donut actually has a much greater meaning. That White Lotus donut could be a symbol of Charon's obol. Chelsea's donut is inspiring allusions to Charon's obol in Greek mythology amongst Reddit users. An obol is the name of a coin in ancient Greece, and it was put in the mouth of a dead person before burial. Charon was the ferryman who would bring souls across the river Styx into the land of the dead. The custom of placing a coin in a deceased person's mouth began with the ancient Greeks and Romans, but there were also similar traditions in Western Europe as well. Since then, the phrase Charon's obol has been used to indicate any time items are placed with a person who's about to be buried in hopes that they'll make a successful passage to the afterlife. As soon as Chelsea ate a circular object, the donut, it should have been a clue to viewers that she wasn't going to survive the episode. Not only does she insist Rick bring her one, but she also goes back to her table to grab it to take with her before she pursues Rick, suggesting that if she hadn't gone after him, she wouldn't have met her untimely fate. While most of the other White Lotus guests seem to snack on fruit at breakfast, Chelsea doesn't stick with this trend, and it ends up working out very badly for her. Maybe if she had chosen another breakfast food to indulge in and stayed at the table, she could have survived the carnage. White Lotus isn't the first show to use this reference to Greek mythology. This isn't the first time that Charon's obol has been referenced in television shows. Star Trek Discovery did an episode in 2019 titled, An Obol for Charon, which centers around a mysterious sphere that puts the USS Discovery in danger. But the allusion that most fans refer to is the much-talked-about series finale of The Sopranos, which aired in 2007. The episode ends with Tony, James Gandolfini, and his family sitting down to eat in a diner. The very last scene ends in an abrupt fade to black, which brings up the debate about what actually happened to Tony. Is he taken out like so many of his fellow gangsters? Or does he go on to continue his life of crime for years to come? The ambiguous ending allowed fans to come up with their own theories, and it certainly did, and continues to, spark a lot of heated discussions about Tony's fate. Some Greek mythology aficionados claim they know the answer to what exactly happens in the finale. Tony, Carmela, Edie Falco, and Anthony, Robert Eiler, are snacking on onion rings right before that infamous fade to black. The circular shape of the onion rings has inspired fans to speculate that the three eating this particular food is a surefire sign that all of them do die. While there's no way to know what happened, creator David Chase has remained tight-lipped on what his interpretation is. That choice of food could lead one to guess that Tony and his family did indeed get whacked. As of now, there has been no word from creator Mike White on his specific intentions for having Chelsea eat that donut as her last meal. But he was strategic in putting in plenty of other Easter eggs throughout the season that pay off later on, such as Pam, Morgana O'Reilly, pointing out the poisonous fruit near the Ratliff's villa in episode 1, Chelsea's foreshadowing by talking about bad things happening in threes, and her statement about her fate being linked to Rick's, which comes true in the finale in the most heartbreaking way. Whether White intentionally included a reference to Karen Zabel or not, Chelsea's death is still one of the most devastating to come out of the White Lotus series across its 3 seasons. If we decide to lean into the Greek mythology of it all, here's hoping that Chelsea's fare into heaven has been paid in full with that sweet confection.